Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the show where we go to 55 and that is the limit. Observe our test subject. He is in a fight for his life. He has been running for 20 hours straight and he has another 4 to go. We reckon he is here on his journey, in the pit of despair. Will he survive?
Hello and welcome back to another episode. I'm at the point in the TC restoration project where you really have to focus your efforts and keep pushing through the worst of it. Almost everything is apart, and what started off as an investigation into the brake light switch, look at that baling wire trigger situation, turned into a truly catastrophic gearbox situation.
I'm like bent over double underneath the car, holding one end of a bolt with this helm and undoing the other end.
I haven't lost any motivation, but things certainly have been proving difficult. At any rate, I vanquished the brake light switch, and then some of the really tricky brake hardlines, and then for some reason I got fixated on this catastrophic grease situation under there. It was too much for me to bear. I'm going to try and get the gearbox out so I can not only degrease that, but degrease the tunnel around it and get everything underneath spotless before I put on the new brake lines. It's a mental fixation. I cannot handle it. I'm going for it. I just couldn't bring myself to put new stuff over the dirt, and I did have a point.
Those barely look like bolts. I just got the end of the prop shaft nuts undone, and now I'm undoing the gearbox mount nuts. It's too much of a pain to show the other nuts, so I'm just going to show you these nuts.
And guess what else I realized was going to have to come out if I was going to get at the gearbox mounts? Yep, the interior. You know when the car has no seats at all, you know you've got problems. But to be honest, I knew it was going to have to come out at some point anyway, so no time like the present. Except for the fact that my progress was thwarted by an unexpected piece of garden gate.
And this is definitely something from the fucking greenhouse. But I mean, hey, come on. Piece of garden gate worked great.
Isn't it nice to know that 3 of these are what hold the seat on? Look what I just found under the seat. It's not a diamond engagement ring, but it is the next best thing. It's a dime from 1945. It's the little things. And in addition to this worthless dime, I found some other worthless junk, including a hotel wine bottle opener and some dried out new old stock windscreen wiper blades. So with the seats out, it was time to gut the carpet.
Just found a drill bit. Add that to the collection.
Next was a battle with the gearbox tunnel, which was nailed to the floor. And let me tell you, this was a low point. I could tell that the dried out rubber was fragile, and I was trying to release it from the car in one piece.
Bad news, kids.
No, it's gonna be fine. I mean, it's only broken in half. What was 1 piece is now 2. Yeah. No problem.
So, I may have been able to leave that in place, but I'm gonna have to put new carpet down, and I have to get the gearbox out, and I'm struggling to get at the mounts. So this violence was necessary is my point, but I just, whose idea was that? Okay, a rubber gearbox tunnel. Let's make the gearbox tunnel, but let's make it out of rubber. Imagine a tunnel made out of metal, but instead of metal, it's rubber. I mean, whose idea was that? I'd like to find him and I'd like to kill him, but you know what? He's probably already dead, which is super unfortunate, but also, why was that an idea? A transmission tunnel made out of rubber. I mean, it's rubber. And now it's broken because I broke it. The only benefit is that I've now found the mounts. There they are. I've finally got all of the gearbox mount bolts out. And now I'm just gonna pull it towards me. Just summon it. I'm just gonna... It's straight out of the car.
But guess what? It didn't really happen like that. Yeah, it was a train wreck. And then I said the most Canadian thing I've ever said.
Oh dear.
It really didn't look it, but the thing was quite a bit heavier than I expected, and it was just incredibly cumbersome to try and get out.
Well, this is inadequate. I didn't think this through.
But ha! I eventually got that out, and the prop shaft too.
Now I'm degreasing the gearbox. So I'm using this stuff called purple power to melt the grease. It is so strong. I call it the purple people eater. I mean, it will dissolve anything. Just look at this. It's like... pretty intense stuff, and it just melts it right off. That is definitely a favorite restoration sauce. It's definitely not safe.
So this went on for a while. I'm cleaning the gearbox, trying to get it spick and span, and then eventually I put my hand on the clutch pivot fork support, and I noticed this.
I think the grease is actually holding parts together on the TC, and I noticed this. This supports the clutch pivot arm.
They only ever made 10,000 MGTCs, and the first thought that popped into my head was how many bell housings could possibly still be around today? Sure, I could try and get it welded, but finding a welder who can do aluminum is difficult in of itself. Finding someone who will touch 80-year-old cast aluminum is even more difficult. So after staring at it for a while, I decided I should just do something I could do, which was clean.
This is ridiculous. The grease is just wild in here. The grease is just crazy, and I'm contemplating my life decisions at the moment. I'm wondering, Daniel, is this really, you know, what you want in life? You know, it's a Sunday right now. It's Sunday at night. I have to go to work tomorrow. You know, is this really what you want? Is it? Is it? I think so. I hope so. I know so. I'm just kidding. It's gonna be great. I hope. Someone please tell me it'll be great in the comments, please.
And while I did what I could that night, the following day I called around and found a welder who would take a look at it and would help me get on my way. Stay tuned for how that plays out in the next episode of Limit 55.